Okay, folks, this is the instructional video for the laboratory today. Remember, our goals are to figure out how many molecules of water can fit onto one penny, and we want to figure out what can change that number of how many molecules and why. Remember that molecules are hard to count, so we're going to end up thinking about the drops of water and how that relates to the molecules of water. Here are your materials. I want to point out, you can read these. I want to point out that other coins are okay. If you can't find a penny, that other coins are okay. The smaller the coin, the better. If you're using a quarter, your experiment's going to take really long. I would prefer if you use a penny or other small coins. I know there's pesos that are pretty small too. Canadian pennies also pretty small. I don't know if you'd have Canadian pennies or pesos. Um, a butter knife, I'll get to this, or another similar shaped object. The secret ingredient you must pass off with me first. I must approve of your secret ingredient before. Um, in the end, your experiment should look like this GIF. So if you're ever like wondering, like, I don't really know, like, if I'm doing this right. If it ends up looking like this, you're doing it right. The beginning of any trial is going to look like this. You're going to lay down a paper towel. You put your penny head side up first. You have your cup of water, and you have your dipping utensil that you see I have just dipped it in the cup of water. So it's a little bit wet, and there's a drop ready to drip on off of my butter knife. I used a butter knife. I tested out a couple of things. Spoon doesn't work out too well. Fork doesn't work out too well. Butter knife works the best. So butter knife, dip it in the water. A couple of drops come off the knife really, really fast. We don't want those fast drops. We want one nice controlled drop. And we let that one drop land on the penny. We want it to land right in the middle of the penny as best as we can. And we count that drop. And every time that we add one drop on here, we put the knife back in the water, and then we bring it back over to the penny. One drop at a time. We want to keep count on every drop. Keep count of every drop. You'll see the water drops start to grow bigger and bigger. You'll know that it's over when you see the water spill out the side onto the paper towel. If your water drop like hits the edge of the penny, that might knock off the water. Make sure you're recording that in your observations. Like, when did the water actually fall off the penny? That's probably something important for you to write down in your observations. I'm not saying throw out that trial. I'm saying make sure that you take good observations. So afterwards, after you end that trial, you're going to dry off your penny. You're going to record how many drops you were able to get on that trial inside of your data table, and you're going to do it again with the pure water again. And you're going to do that 3 total times with pure water. And then you're going to take your 1 cup of water, and you're going to stir in 2 big scoops of salt. Then salt, and if you don't have salt in your house, let me know. And you mix it into your water, and you want to stir it with a spoon or another knife or anything to stir it around. Make sure the salt gets dissolved into your water so that it's not all just sitting at the bottom. The salt is not all just sitting at the bottom. Then you're going to repeat those previous steps again, where again, you're dripping 1 drop at a time onto the penny, counting with each drop until it spills over. And that's how you know your 1 trial is ended, and you need to dry it off and do it again with the salt water. After this, you should pour out your salt water and start with a fresh new cup. And then you're going to add your secret ingredient to the same amount of water. And you're going to repeat this and get the data with your secret ingredient. Before you start, note that you have to answer the pre-lab questions. I'm not going to let you start until you let me know your answer to number 3 before you continue. For this experiment, each member of the group must do their own trial. You must do your own trial. The answer to the post-lab questions, that's going to be due Friday at 5 p.m. No late submissions. We'll have some time at the beginning of next class to work on the post-lab questions. We will not be doing any experimentation next class. We will only be answering post-lab questions next class. Let me show you what the document looks like. So if you're ready to go and you don't need any help on the document, you can pause this video and be done. Here are pre-lab questions. 4. The first couple are really fast, really easy. This is a straight up predict. I'm not asking you to tell me why. I'm just saying predict. Um, this is a fast one sentence response right here. You've got your materials, you've got your procedures. This may look like a lot of steps, but I just made it super explicit. Like I laid out each step like really, really clear so there's no room for misinterpretation of what you need to do. It's really clear right here. It's super straightforward. It's a really straightforward lab. Here are your data tables. So you record your number of drops of the first, second, third trial, and then you record your average. Notice that there's observations here for each trial. Each trial should have its own set of observations. If you write the same thing for each trial, and you only write the same exact thing, I'm gonna be able to tell that like you weren't making specific observations during the trial. You will make observations for the pure water, the salt water, and your secret ingredient water. Notice that this box you don't need to fill out for observations, obviously. You're going to take a photo of what your penny looks like with the water on it. You're going to post that photo here. Um, and then you've got your post lab questions, which again won't be due until Friday at 5 p.m. And we'll start them if you don't get time to start them this class, then you will have time to start them at the beginning of the following class. On this Google Sheet, let me show you this Google Sheet. When you click that link, it brings you here. So you'll have your name. You'll get to write down who your lab partner is. Record only the averages. See, it says average for pure water, average for salt water. List your secret ingredient, and then the average drops for this secret ingredient water that you had. On the next tab down below, you'll see class averages. You won't be able to edit these numbers over here. It'll tell you what the pure water average and the salt water average is. You'll use those two numbers right here. You'll use those two numbers to answer when this is asking for class average data. When you're asking for class average data, get the class average from, again, you go down here. It's not individual data. It's called class averages down here at the bottom. You won't be able to edit these numbers. That should be it. That's pretty straightforward. These bottom questions get a little more advanced. They'll take some time. So if you say to yourself, wow, these questions are hard, then you'd be right. These questions are hard. Take your time on them. Come to office hours for them if you need. That's it from Murray. Hope this goes well.